Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Premier Sim Gaming League here at F7. I am your main commentator, LRDell, and I'm here with Tom Mole. We're at Singapore right now. Hello, Tom.
Hello, Delta. It's really good to be here in F7. This is definitely one of the most competitive grids that PSGL has to offer. You know, we saw last week at Bahrain Short, complete non-stop action. I expect totally the same today. Just to give a little bit of information about Marina Bay, it is roughly about 5 kilometers long. That is not. It's actually quite a long track. 31 laps. I expect non-stop action for those 31 laps. Actually, of 23 corners. Little on tyres. It's probably going to be. We're going to see a variety of strategy we saw in other tiers, namely F9. Actually, a lot of drivers opting for the hard compound tyre to really last them and push them forward all the way through the race, and then going on to the medium compound. Around lap 20, early 20, we will see them switch onto the medium tyre, and then that second stint on a medium. So definitely a wide range of strategy we could see around here today. So really looking forward to it.
Absolutely, it's good to have you in the commentary box. Obviously, we didn't have you last week, but it was good to see. It's good to see you now, though. What are your thoughts on Singapore? How do you think the driver's going to be able to cope with this type of track?
Yeah, like you were saying, we were having a little discussion before actually about Singapore, and we both agreed that it's a very technical track to drive on. So you're going to really have to be maintaining that focus. It's a long race, as I do think we have a restart here in the lobby actually. But like we were saying with Singapore, it is a tough track to nail, to get lapping out. Wing damage around here is common with the walls. So if you are going to go for an overtake, you have to be really, really brave and make sure that you are confident that you can get the move done, because we have seen a lot of drivers perhaps going for it, bit of wing damage, and that can really, because it's such a long pit stop. It's actually 25.5 second pit lane, which is the joint longest on the calendar. So that is, yeah, it's definitely one to take into account. If you do get wing damage, will you pick? Because it is a counterclockwise track, so wing damage may not be as drastic as it is around here, but it's definitely still noticeable.
Absolutely. I'm not too sure if we're having a restart. Obviously, there was a little yeah, I think we're having a restart, but obviously it's a little host difficulties. It's whatever. Sometimes, well, to be fair, I didn't actually know it was supposed to be night time. I thought it was just unofficial. Well, to be fair, official weather is actually night, so it's whatever. But it's best to get these little errors out of the way. Wouldn't you agree, Tom? It's always best to get these out in the way, and it is only round 2, so we've still got tons more races to make these little errors. Also, it's me and your debut season here. We're both mates, so this is a little bit interesting for us to commentate over. But yeah, the drivers are doing their laps, but I know that we're having a restart, so I'll just leave the lobby when we have to. Are they making a new lobby?
I believe so. I do take a bit of that. Sorry about that, everyone. It's supposed to be on night, and I've accidentally put it on day, so there will be a lobby restart, but a bit more on the track. So, like I was saying, it is quite a long track. You know, we do see long lap times around it, and it is very technical. I'm sure, as a PSGL driver yourself, having raced on it previously, you know, in the week, you can see from experience how tough it is around here, league racing, such a competitive grid as well, where everyone will be pushing right to their limit all the way through the 31 laps.
Absolutely. Will you be making the lobby again, or is it going to be someone else?
I believe it is Carson making the lobby, so hopefully invites will be out.
Yeah, I've got an invite.
Soon. There we go. Really soon for Carson.
Yeah, I've got an invite, but it's all good. It's at least we got it out early. It's good that the drivers did notice that it was well, it was kind of hard to notice that the difference between night and day. But yeah, it was on the official rulebook saying that it's supposed to be on the dynamic and then official. Yeah, I think I probably would have made that error as well. So I'm not gonna start poking at you saying, "Oh yeah, I can't believe you did this mistake." Like, I probably would have done it as well. And hosting lobbies like that is a little bit stressful, because it's like, make one little error, invite the wrong person. It just yeah, but it's all good though. Right, it's Australia, but I don't think we're doing Australia. We'll be doing
I don't think so.
Yeah.
This tier it's really impressive actually because of the minimal assists actually that you get round here. It is line only, of course, so we have to take that into account, for lap times. But these drivers are so talented. I've watched streams previously, previous last season's races as well, and you just see how competitive this grid is. You cannot call who will win each race, and that's what we love about PSGL. There is no clear winner. There's no one massively above everyone else, and that is fantastic to see as a spectator, and I'm sure as a commentator yourself, you do love to see battling right into the final lap.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always good to see the drivers, obviously. Well, there's a lot on the line, because, this is, the pinnacle of league racing. Obviously, F7 isn't, the top of PSGL at the moment, but it is... Still, it's PSGL. When you say that you're a champion in this league, in general, it's a very big achievement to have. The only championship I've won is a constructors, so I wouldn't really class that as a big thing. But obviously in the high divisions, when it's this competitive, you've seen some people contending for the championships in some of the divisions in PSGL, and then they've just dropped, and then it's just an upset. So all this is just an absolute fight to the end of the season to see who really wants it more near the end. So that's what I was saying. I was noticing that there was a lot of drivers before the race just saying that this is their time, this is going to be their time, they want to win it this season, they want to improve better than they did last season with the results, which is obvious. Obviously you want to improve, but yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how Singapore goes. If you guys are only just tuning in, we had to do a restart because the weather was on daytime. But yeah, the Singapore, a very complex and kind of tricky track, but it'll be a fun one for us, especially Tom.
Yeah, I did come to the F9 tier actually yesterday, and I tell you what, you could not take your eyes off it. This track, it has so much to offer. Seriously, it is, because of how tight it is, it feels really almost not congested, but really tight. So people have to be so confident sending one. If you are going to really do it, you got to make it count. You got to make sure that you're confident, like I said before, and really push it. And I expect to see plenty of that tonight. We did see across all tiers yesterday, people, interesting whether they really go for it in the first stint or the second stint, and what tie they go on, because safety cars aren't uncommon around here. It's actually really likely that you will get a safety car. So it'll be interesting to see how much, if a safety car comes out, will affect the strategies, how early, how late it is, as I think the lobby's actually just getting underway. So sorry about that delay, everyone.
Yeah, just just put a little message in the chat there. Just obviously I can put a little message in the chat before we load in, but yeah, it's unfortunately it's not a wet race, so it will just be it will literally just be a dry race. So a little bit of rain could have tensed it up a little bit there for the drivers, make it a bit more complex, but can't complain though. We've still got Singapore for tonight. But there's not that much to talk about, obviously, because we haven't loaded into the qualifying yet. But once we get into that, then we'll have a lot more to talk about. But do you have any thoughts on how these drivers are going to be compared to the F9 drivers that you can commentated over, Tom? Is there any place that you think that we'll be seeing some interesting sends or kind of overtakes through people? Obviously, the DRS sections on the first sector, that'll be a much more obvious one. But is there any places that you saw in F9 that looked a bit unorthodox that you could maybe see here happen?
Definitely. So I'm thinking coming into the little chicane part before the bridge, you can possibly see people being later on the brakes because of limited assists. Perhaps I did see one overtake actually there by Trap Formula, and it was very, very impressive. So will we see more of that tonight is the big question. Where will we see drivers do overtakes? Where do they feel comfortable doing overtakes? Because in the earlier laps, you don't really want to risk it all. But as we get later and later on in the race, the pressure on the drivers to perform, like you're saying, this is the pinnacle of league racing. Everyone wants to come here on Monday nights and absolutely smash it for their teams, for themselves, to make themselves really proud at the end of the day. So starting off round 2, people may have been disappointed by their results in round 1. They might have been really happy with their results in round 1. Tonight is the night to change that.
Absolutely. Round 1 at Bahrain, if you guys didn't check that out last week, it was me and Logan. It was a very interesting race. Obviously before, when you start up the stream, you'd think, oh yeah, this is just going to be a very bit of a plain and dull race, but the drivers last week, for it being F7, they provided a lot of entertainment on it. There was a lot of upsets after the race. A few people were fighting for the top 5, and what, like, that track required a lot of consistency and patience, because you make one mistake, the whole grid's just gonna fly past you. So for them drivers to go for a whole 100% race and keep at that pace consistently, you can see that throughout the season they're going to be doing the same week after week after weeks. But if you have the standings up, or if I can check it up there now, but last week I think it was, because through the penalties, it is now SKGR Old Wine in the Williams who is leading the race. He won it, followed through with LRS finishing second, and Turissimo finishing third in the Williams. So it was a double Williams podium last season, so could they provide that result for this week as well?
That is the question, will we see one dominant constructors? We won't see one clear drivers, but constructors, for me, is always interesting, that dynamic between the teammates and other competitors on the grid. Do they work together? Do they fight for the individual titles? I think for the Williams, it would definitely be interesting after getting that really strong result in round 1. Will we see the similar, if not the same results tonight, or will their fortunes change perhaps as other drivers, work their way through the grid? Because you can do that here. You can start towards the back and work your way up. We saw it with yourself in F10. You can start from the back and make it work, as I think Thick is actually just starting the first flyer. So it'll be interesting to see what he does coming into turn 1. How does he take it? He wants to just skim the curbs in the first few corners. Now, getting his foot down early, using all the amount of road he can now into this, and going over the curb slightly there, getting onto the DRS early, and now powering it down. One of the main tricks we could see overtakes tonight. Definitely this corner, it is, you can really do it. As I think that's invalid. Yes, it is, just going over the curb. And that is invalid for him. There's a strong sector 1 though, so probably more of the same with that.
Absolutely, it was a little bit unfortunate though. He looked like he was on an absolute roll there coming for a sector, but that's another thing. What about penalties? That's it's not a thing that'll regularly occur with the drivers, but if you do make a little bit of an error, maybe go a little bit too tight onto turn 1, you could maybe get a little bit of a penalty there, or maybe near around the bridge section. I'm not sure what turn that is, but FRL Jordy is coming onto it, so we can go on board with him. But yeah, that'll be one interesting one to see how it happens with this lap. But yeah, he's got a purple sector 1 and 2. I think he is the guy that's the farthest on his lap. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, the mediums are about 8 tenths slow around here, 8 to 9 tenths. So be interesting to see, what the mediums are compared, what Geordie's lap will be compared to the soft runners, because they are within the 8 to 9 tenth gap. You can see him when he goes onto those softs. This is just a banker for him, of course. When he goes onto those softs, how much will he improve it by? How much we'll be able to cautious he was in his out lap, his sort of banker lap, compared to it. As it's a 1:35.3 to start. Expect, yep, there we go. Straight away, MS beating it with a 1:35.098. So more of those. I think we will see drivers slowly into the 1:34s. But like you're saying, with penalties, it is tricky because this track can, you can pick up penalties around here. Like you're saying, turn and corners, if you go over the curb just a little bit, but matters of millimeters, you will pick up warnings, and quite consistently, depending on how much you push it. The bridge section, the chicane section, there's plenty of room for error around here, and for drivers to pick up those penalties. And how costly will it be, do you reckon, in the race?
Yeah, it'll be very interesting comment on it. But I just noticed something. Panos in the Red Bull, him and his teammate are now first and third. Looked like Panos actually bet LR Ace, if that's the right pronunciation. So Ace got a 141.6, so it might have been a little bit of a scruffy lap there for him on the soft tires, but there's a lot of time to be found, because a 141 is not the best time in the world, so he might have made an error, but Jordy slotted his car into third with a 135.3. Fick, I think he'll be starting his lap soon, but I'm not too sure. A couple drivers are sticking in the pit lane, but who is on a lap closer to the thing. Can you see? I think it's no, he's got invalid. He's coming out the pits. GML Panda, nope. Carson, he got his. Oh, F1R Stroll Do, if I'm pronouncing that right, he got second with a 134.3.
That is a very nice lap, actually, for Carson. That is a fantastic lap, in fact. A 133.4. That is, you know, Carson, perhaps, arguably one of the favourites. I mean, it's tough to say after round 1, actually. But if you're thinking about it, SMM Carson, that is a very, very, very strong lap. And it'll definitely be happy with. But it'll be interesting to see how many runs drivers do around here, because, like I said, safety cars are common around here, so maybe you want to keep those set of fresh softs, you know, to the side just for later use, because track temps around here are through the roof.
Ooh,
you know,
Carlos.
The amount of wear you get on those tyres is, you know, it's not ridiculous, but it's extraordinarily massive. You know, the tyres just fall off, and when they do fall off, the lap time just goes off the cliff. As that is Marcus in the AlphaTauri, teammates with Carson, picking up a purple Sector 1 on the medium tyre. So that is definitely interesting. But he's hit the wall, and he's nearly lost his tyre there.
Yeah, I just saw a little bit of glimpse there of that.
Yeah, that front right nearly coming off Marcus's car. He's done fantastic to keep it out of the wall there. But after a really strong Sector 1, I don't believe he got any wing damage, but that is that lap over, to say the least.
Yeah, Carlos in the Racing Point, he got further for 134.7 with his teammate Bolt Striker in 5th. So we're starting to notice that the teams that have been actually assigned for this division are fairly close to each other. There's a lot of close teams. You've got, well, last week the AlphaTauris were actually the big favourites at the start of the stream in the chats. A lot of people thought that it was going to be a 1-2 for the AlphaTauris because they secured a 1-3 or a 1-2 in the qualifying, if I'm sure. And then I think Marcus got into a little bit of a bother with another driver, and then he finished outside the points. Meanwhile, his teammate, I think, got into the points. I'm not too sure. It was a whole 100%, so there was a lot of stuff that happened in that race. But yeah, a very, very long race, and it's one to remember because obviously you've never ever probably going to say you've commentated over a 100% race at Bahrain Short, because it's not a thing that you'd ever see leagues do. But for PSGL to do a Bahrain Short race is fairly interesting because it's very entertaining, to say the least.
Those short lap times and the amount of action you see with DRS, you see trains form. Inevitably with the DRS and the short lap times, you do see trains form, and seeing drivers really battle with the trains fascinating, because interesting to see how much drivers are willing to risk it in the early rounds of the season, how much they're willing to put their car on the line to pick up, potential damage. Like I say, in every bit of comms I do for PSGL, it is high risk, high reward in PSGL. You know, if you risk it, there could be a high reward, but there could also be a high punishment coming at, if you make a mistake around here, actually, at Singapore, you will be punished for it. As there's quite a few drivers now on their flyers, so it'd be interesting to see whether anyone can match or even better Carson's lap there of a 133.4.
Yeah, there's one interesting driver I'm on board with who's in 15th place. He's just finished the bridge section. His name's Vero. He got a purple Sector 1 on the mediums, and I think he got a purple Sector 2. Yeah, there it is, but I'm not too sure. The game is, me and M&T Brain used to say, it's just Bugmasters at its finest. They always have to lie whenever we're spectating with the middle sector, but he got an invalid there through the chicane that you were going on about with the invalidations. If I'm correct, that's where Marcus lost it as well, but he's not going to be too pleased with himself on the mediums. Would have been interesting to see what lap he would have set. But there is a rule about the pit lane line, if I'm correct. Tom, there's a specific line that you need to take in the pit lane, and I think if you get caught taking that line, it's like a 5-second or a 10-second. I'm not too sure, but yeah, that'll. I hope that obviously the race doesn't get just judged by that. Like a driver in P1, but then he cuts the line just a little bit, gets a penalty. I'm not too sure what the punishment is, but it'll be interesting. But we do have Tiramisu? Do you know how to say that name? The guy in P12 in the Williams, Jax
Uh,
Turismo. I just called him Turissimo or
I
Turismo.
think that's right. Yeah, I think that's
Yeah, he's
Turismo.
the Turissimo. Yeah, it's so irritating because I don't want to get the names wrong because some of the people were saying I can't wait for the English commentators to share names, so I don't know how it's going to be pronounced, but we'll just try our best, and then if we're saying it wrong, then we do apologise. But yeah, he was the driver on the podium last week, so it'll be interesting. A lot of drivers starting on the mediums. Obviously, we know because we've been clarified by the admin and the rest of the drivers in the chat that it is a full dry race. So no rain is going to be hitting the track for tonight's race. But what are your thoughts on the rain, though, Tom? Did any rain occur in F9? Like a little bit or
It
anything?
did indeed during qualifying. It was really interesting in the fact that it didn't come up on the MFD. So computer screens inside garages, there was no rain forecast, and then all of a sudden the clouds came out in Singapore, and it was raining. And I mean, it was raining. It wasn't just a drizzle. It was rain, and it was bizarre because I don't think the drivers were expecting it. There was medium runners that were, I think, caught out by the fact that they weren't expecting rain. They did their banker down the south of their banker, so we did see people that we perhaps weren't expecting to be so high in qualifying up there because they simply did their runs on softs. I think interestingly this qualifying so far, my one to watch so far in qualifying is the Williams in second place of Old Wine. He has done a 1:34.1 on the medium, and we know that they are about 8 to 9 tenths slower. So when he goes on those soft tyres, I think he would have a really nice qualifying battle here with Carson, and perhaps we will see as the lap times get fast as a track evolution, you know, the track grips up and there's more grip available on the track. Those track times, those lap times, sorry, continue to diminish into the 1:33s.
Absolutely. Talking about the Williams driver of Old Wine, his teammate is secured a fourth on the mediums. So yeah, we're starting to sense a little bit of a trend with the Williams drivers. They've been very consistent. Obviously, we'd expect that in F7, but the only team that I've noticed that we're scrapping out a lot were the Williams and versus the Renault team, and the Renault team is setting in 9th and 14th. Obviously, both of them have set their laps on the mediums, so yeah, they will have time to improve on their soft run, as you said before. Goods. Did you say a good 8 to 9 times quicker than the soft runners?
I'd say, yeah, I'd say about 8 to 9 tenths is what you can expect on average around here for the softs, and it's just imagine it's 2.4 seconds slow on hards to fresh softs. That is a significant pace difference. It's the biggest on the calendar, so that is definitely going to be interesting to see the drivers outside the top 10. Will they choose to go on the hards because they know that they will be nowhere near the pace off the start, but are they willing to sacrifice that to be faster at the end? Definitely be interesting to see whether people, you know, what sort of alternate strategy, if they do go for the alternate strategy, they go for.
Absolutely. The chat is getting absolutely piled up, but I don't want to. I've seen some of the messages, but I cannot read them out. But yeah, there's a few people just supporting Carson, which is obvious. Like he's sitting in P1, and I think that's pole. Yeah, he's got pole by a good margin. Obviously, Old Wine did his time on the mediums, so there'll be a lot of time to be found. But can Carson improve on his time, and can the rest of the field potentially have that pace to even beat Carson? But Carson has wine damage on his lap, so I'm not too sure where he picked that up. Did you clock where he got it?
I didn't, but I know that it would have been probably. I'm seeing the bridge, as we see. Who was that? That was the hash driver setting a. Or was it? I think it was the hash driver setting a. No, it wasn't. What am I on about? I think it was Viro. Sorry, Viro the Ferrari setting a 1:34.4 on the mediums. Be to know whether drivers are happy on their medium time, because the alternate strategy round here is quite powerful. So the likes of Viro, it seems as though Carson is preparing a soft run. Definitely be interesting to see what he does. We've already seen him out getting that wing damage, but the medium runners, will they be happy on the mediums, or will they want to go for the soft tyres? That is what I'm going to be intrigued about for this qualifying session as the clock counts down ever closer to the start of the Singapore Grand Prix. It's now 2 minutes 40 left. Will we see sneak into the 1:33s? Already seen Carson in there as a 1:33.4, looking really strong so far. Old Wine probably also the favourites after a very, very strong result in Bahrain shot. Will he be able to match even better it in the rest of this qualifying session?
Absolutely. The Mercs in 8th and 9th are on a very good start, sitting 8th and 9th. But see, I don't want to like predict things because I'm starting to not believe in jinxes anymore. Because obviously from last week I said a jinx and it actually just reversed and the guy did like amazing. So like I don't believe in that anymore. But yeah, it's fairly interesting to see how close the teammates are between each other, and that can really put like an interesting thing to happen for the race. Because like if you're battling with your teammate, you gotta know that you make one mistake to your teammate, or you battle him just a little bit too hard, or you want to prove that you're the driver one, and you both get put out of the race. That could do a really big damage to you and your team for the remainder of the season if you've got a little bit of negativity between each other. So you always want to have a teammate that you know that you can trust, and you've got good like chemistry. Same with commentators. You want to have a good chemistry with your teammate. Know each other, know what strategies you're gonna do. Try not double stack and all that stuff. And the double stacking around here, and even the pit lane, is I think you read out the info before the stream, Tom, about how long the pit lane is run about. How long is it again? Is it 20?
25.5. So it's about the same as Britain actually. So a very, very long pit lane.
Yeah. So if a double stack or any like a little bit of minor damage happens, that'll put a big nail into the hammer for the works. But safety cars though, that can impede a lot of the people's strategies a lot. But LR Ace, 7 seconds beat his time. He's secured himself into 5th with a 134.5. Only just behind it Vero. Vero's retired from the session. I think he got a little bit of damage after the first sector. So yeah, that was his final lap over. So he's just retired from it. But we've got the top 3 on out laps. Who is close to starting their lap? It looks like
Old Wine.
Old Wine. Yeah, with his teammate actually at the back. Obviously slipstream is not allowed, but yeah, it's actually fairly interesting to see because slipstream's not allowed, so they'll both be following each other. But it looks like Old Wine is already, I wouldn't want to say he's backing off his lap, but his ERS mode's on 0. Did he get a bad run? Did he get a bad run or something? I'm very confused. Yeah, he must have got a bad run.
He must have, yeah. Must have.
Where's his teammate? Where did his teammate actually there he is, 7th. Oh, and he's got a validation as well. So both the Williams messed themselves up off just after turn 1, so that's not the best. So can the driver who is now third, yeah, we'll watch him. He's 2 tenths up on his time on the softs of Stro. I'm gonna call him Stro because I don't want to say the full name, but yeah, Stro is in 3rd place right now. I'd reckon he's a good 4 tenths up on his time right now, as they are the softs. They're much more quicker than the mediums. So can he be the one to beat Carson's pole position lap? Yeah, he gets a little bit of traffic, but it won't help. That won't hurt him too much. Coming through to the bridge section now, little hairpin here. You want to get a good line and a good exit, and then you want to apply the power and then enable the DRS. But fairly straightforward sector 2, looking very good for him. You want to use the curb, go a little bit wide but get a good exit, try to avoid that wall there, or else you're just going to bash your wheel into it and lose it completely. But going through to the chicane, you want to use these curves, especially that exit curve. You can get a good maximum of half 10th, but he gets a little bit of a snap coming through to the little mini tunnel section. Some of you like to call it the tunnel section, but fairly straightforward through there, using the curves right there. Very good use of the curves. But onto the final part of the track. He doesn't want to mess up on the last part, don't go too wide. And what can he set? 3rd, 133.7. So looks like Marcus is. Oh, wait, Marcus actually beat the time.
Oh yeah,
I was gonna say Carson got the pole position, but no, Marcus has just came out of nowhere. So AlphaTauri's 1-2.
I didn't want to interrupt the flow of the Delta track guide.
Yeah,
I mean,
I didn't know.
Marcus, what a fantastic lap that is. Carson invalidated in sector 1 over the exit curb. He went invalidation. Marcus stepped up to the plate though with the AlphaTauri, carrying that AlphaTauri to pole position with Carson. Says that's gonna be an interesting dynamic off the line now. What a fantastic lap that is though.
I didn't expect that. I was in the flow that much that I was just gonna say, and it's Carson, and I was like, oh wait, no, it's Marcus. Marcus just came out of nowhere with that time.
I was absolutely loving the track analysis. It was brilliant, you know.
Yeah, I didn't even. I don't even have any of the any of the turn knowledge. So I was just trying to call them by their names, like the hairpins, the chicanes. But yeah, fantastic lap. I did actually say that earlier. The people were saying for Bahrain, can they get a 1-2? Because after the race, they were saying, oh, it might just be a 1-2 for the AlphaTauris, and they've predicted it a week later, and it's an AlphaTauri 1-2 right now with the Haas driver of Stroll in third. But jeez, I didn't expect that. I was gonna say
That was
Carson with the pole position, and then boom, Marcus comes out of nowhere. The Norwegian driver get a
it was a
1:33.225.
it was a fantastic lap. I mean, Oldwine and Carson both invalidating their final run. So Oldwine though on the mediums, that is definitely the one to watch for me in fourth place on the mediums. How will he make them work? Interestingly, the other Williams down in ninth. I don't think many people would have predicted that coming into this race. So, Oldwine in fourth, the other Williams in ninth. Will we see the AlphaTauris work together now to escape the pack, or will we see them, like you were saying before, be interesting to see that team dynamic, how much they are going to battle each other. You know, they of course going to leave each other enough room because the constructors, everyone wants that constructors. You know, you want the drivers, but you also want the constructors. So, I think as we are going to get underway in a few moments' time, we will see constant battles going into this. It's a long race, actually, 31 laps. So we will see a lot of battles all the way through, but definitely an interesting dynamic at the front of the AlphaTauris.
Absolutely, the messages that are getting put in the chat are very inappropriate, I must say. Oh, they're not the best. They're very odd ones, I must say. If you've got your stream open as well, Tom, they're very odd ones. If you can agree with that, they're very odd ones. If you look at the recent ones, there's some very odd ones, but I'm not gonna read it out. It's completely irrelevant to the stream. But did someone just leave the lobby there?
I have heard we have got another restart.
What?
There will be another restart. So there will be fresh tyres available. Of course, they will have to carry on with the tyres that they were obviously on, but that is definitely another dynamic now to this already chaotic Singapore race. We was going to offer so much action already, but now we have the lobby restart. We have the qualifying positions, of course, but so custom group will be set up. But
someone's invited someone that wasn't supposed to be here. Oh. I need to wait for this timer to go because I can't just end the stream, so I need to wait for these guys to see, I want the timer to finish so I can just go, but like what happens if everyone just leaves? Because I don't want the game to freeze, but yeah, for some reason someone added a driver that wasn't supposed to be in the lobby, but yeah, if you're watching the stream, please don't add anyone that is not in the league. But yeah, here we go. Error, there are not enough players remaining to start the race session. You will be returned to the lobby. Fantastic. But yeah, this is kind of unfortunate though for the drivers who started on the mediums, because the guys on the mediums could have had a fantastic advantage against the soft guys, because then they could have hit much later, maybe like round about lap 6 or 7, and then I think the mediums or the hard guys could last to, well, on the hard tires I could have lasted them to lap 18, but I think I did a massive undercut. I think I pit lap 14 onto the mediums, and then I got to the end, but then a little bit of rain came, and then I got a little bit damaged, and then I balled it. So yeah, that's my that's basically how my race went last night.
That was the F10 race, yes.
Yeah, that's my F10 race summed up.
It seemed across the board there was spouts of rain. Of course, there will be no rain tonight, but definitely across the board there was spouts of rain, and like you were saying, you have 10 race. Be interesting to see now, obviously with the fresher tyres, whether the people outside the top 10 are still going to go with the same strategy they had planned for, or whether they're going to switch it up now and go for the softs or the mediums, because of course the hards now, if they are going to do the hard tyre, they will not be as effective because the softs can pit later, of course, because of the fresher tyres. So definitely another dynamic here in Singapore, like we needed it already, of course, with such a technical and tough track. It is definitely going to be interesting now, as hopefully it'll get started in just a few seconds.
Yeah, so it's very upsetting though. It's very disappointing in the driver. Apparently it was well, I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to criticise him and make him feel bad, but yeah, he invited two guys that said to him in DMs that they were reserves and they weren't. So yeah, two people causing bother. But yeah, it's very disappointing in the guy who invited the person. But I guess if you didn't know, but then again, the guy should not have not invited the guy for reloading into the lobby because they would have missed it, the thing. But yeah, the think of it as a benefit for us, Tom, because now it puts the strategy out the window of a thing like the softs are going to be fresh, the mediums are going to be fresh, the guys outside the top 10s can go in, I think, any tire they want, but the top 10 do need to stay on the tires that they did qualify on. But if you do see someone who has put on the wrong tires, they'll have to pit instantly on lap 1, stick it onto them tires, and then go back out and stick to their normal strategy. I think that's what you have to do. But
Yep,
yeah, this is our second restart, I think. I'm not too sure, but yeah. It's better to get these errors out of the way so people know for next week.
It is frustrating, of course, especially to the drivers. As commentators, we can only talk about what's going in front of us. But if you're driving right now, you are really, like we're saying, this is the pinnacle of league racing. And if you were starting outside the top 10, of course, this is altered or perhaps changed your strategy, which may be frustrating, of course. So we do totally get that some drivers will be frustrated, but it is tough because we do have to restart. And there's nothing we can really do about it because of the nature of it as it was, and all these drivers know the basic rules. Don't invite anyone not in the league. It's quite basic or in the tier. But as we get underway, the medium runners, I think it was Obi. Was it Obi? No, I don't think it was actually. It was on someone quite high up on mediums, so it'd be interesting to see the people in the top 10 on mediums, how they feel about their race, and if they do get a podium, it'll be interesting getting them in for interviews after about how their strategy. But definitely you can't call this because of the AlphaTauri drivers being a 1-2 off the start. That will be absolute chaos, I'm sure, going in sector 1, sector 2. See how close they are, and I did see in F9 actually ascend off the start into turn 1, so will we see that here? Be interesting. Definitely gonna have to watch out for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, since we've got a little while until we start, I'm just gonna look not in the chat because I know that most of the chats are just like little memes of people saying stuff towards me. But yeah, round 3 is Austria. What do you think these drivers would be like? Because obviously I just want to make conversations so we're not just a bit silent, not providing the energy. But Austria, well, I can run guys through the calendar if you guys are interested in the stream. So we've got round 3 Austria, then 4 Belgium, 5 then the Netherlands Grand Prix. Very interesting track to say the least. Very difficult to get overtakes in, so I'll just be qualifying. Round 6 France, 7 Canada. That'll just be an interesting one to comment on. The Canada, Japan, Baku, and then Brazil is the finale. But Austria, though, that's a very interesting track. Some people would say it's a very basic track. It's just a breeze of a track to do as a race, but penalties could come into play for that 100%. Like, it's a very fast-flowing track. It's not anything like Singapore. Singapore, there's a few parts that could be very fast-flowing, like the first sector, but with Austria, the whole thing's fast-flowing.
Yeah, the average speeds around Austria are tremendously high. Of course, you'd expect that. Only 10 corners, so you do see an interesting and wide range of setups. Of course, you will see it, of course, with every track. But I'd say Austria is up there on the variety of setups that we see drivers choose. You may see ones going for low downforce just to get the moves done in turns 2 and 3, or whether they want to be faster in the corners, like in sector 2, of course. And you're going past probably the most technical part of the track. With the fast corners, you've got the left-hander where you've got to really whip it round. You've got the double left-hander and then back on for the right-hander, and obviously avoiding penalties. So I expect plenty of action with loads of drivers getting, within the 102 ranges. So that definitely be interesting next week. But of course, focusing on this race now, the AlphaTauris, like I've mentioned, will they be battled? Will we see one person arise from the pack and take it to the AlphaTauri drivers? I think it's just getting started in just a few seconds. But going into this, I'm going to have to say, I'm putting you on the spot, but going into this, how do you think, sorry, let me rephrase that. Do you think anyone will be able to battle the AlphaTauris?
Well, it'll be Very interesting. Well, it's a very good question to say, Tom. But yeah, it'll be very interesting because you've got 12 Tories, and if well, obviously they both are a team, so they're gonna be wanting to defend each other and protect each other from obviously getting vulnerable from one of the drivers sending it. So whoever is in P3, I think it's Stroll in the Haas. So if he's wanting to get past one of the AlphaTauris, he's gonna have to get past both of them for that P1. So they'll sure as heck be very, very defensive to get the move done, but I think we do have a formation lap. Yeah, we do. I was gonna say if we're just going lights out and away we go already, but yeah, obviously formation laps here. But yeah, very good question. It'll be very interesting coming through to turn one. It's a very well from how my race went. I qualified 14 because I was gonna do the alternate strategy, but it was I couldn't see too much in what happened with the front runners in F10, but it'll be very interesting for them. What Carson and Marcus will just want to do is they want to just stay in the position that they're in right now. Obviously, I'm not saying Carson just stay behind Marcus and let Marcus win. Maybe build a good, considerable gap to the rest of the pack, and then if you feel like it's time to go and you guys just scrap out for the first, like with the Mercedes drivers, I think it was 2014 at Bahrain. The principal just said you both have got a good considerable gap to the guys behind. Now you guys can just battle out, no team orders. So then them both just scrapped out. But with the AlphaTauris, you don't want to scrap out too early into the race, because if you do get a little bit too defensive and you don't expect that move from your teammate, that could put your other teammate into pressure with the drivers behind. Because with this track, one little move and you don't stick it, or you get like a little bit of wing damage off the side of the wall, that's game over.
Yeah, 100%. Because of the massive pitch straight, it, like I was saying, it really can be race changing and perhaps season changing when you really take it all into account. This race here, because of the pit lane, one little mistake, you may want to carry on. Because of that, it depends how bad the wing damage is, but two drivers disqualified in a formation lap, both on hards, so they are definitely at a disadvantage. Those cold hards will not be feeling good off the line. Old Wine on mediums though, so he's going to be my one to watch coming into this, down in fourth, the Williams driver. He's on a different strategy to those ahead of him. We also have, namely, Viro, Ace, and Terrazimo. Sorry about the pronunciation there. The other Williams driver. But Old Wine has been disqualified. And so Bolt Striker, luckily for them, it is just as it going across the line. But we will see the lights in just a few seconds. Will we see any moves done into turn one? Potentially. But for the rest of sector one, I expect pure chaos. And now for the 31 laps of the Marina Bay circuit. I cannot wait for this now as the drivers line up.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be an absolute crack of a race, but I'm going to let you do the lights though, because, well, I think you've got much more enthusiasm and you'll be able to catch up on the rest of the drivers if anything happens, but yeah, just waiting for the game to load and we will go on the way.
One light, two light, three light, four light, five red lights, and away we go for the Marina Bay Grand Prix of Round 2 and F7. As we just seen, I think that's a Ferrari going for a move. Really early on, 3 wide going to turn one. As it's a Renault sending it down the inside. Red Bull forced really wide. The Ferrari having to back off a Viro there. That is ace though, fantastic off the line. The Renault driver has got past, namely as well, Stroh past Carson. We've said before, will anyone be able to battle the AlphaTauris? Stroh has proved us correct. He was electric off the line.
Oh, yellow flag.
And that is that's Geordie, the Renault driver. Yellow flags there. Hopefully it is not an early safety car. Now, as we do see, that is Old Wine, who's had a really poor start. The Williams driver down in 12 now. He's sending one down around the outside of the Mercedes, trying to stick it. Fantastic move for Old Wine up into 11th place.
Absolutely, that's what a start though from the drivers. I was almost just very lackluster on who to watch there, but Marcus getting a really good gap to destroy it there. But like I was saying with Carson, he did get a little bit under pressure, because obviously with your teammate you don't want to get too much of a good start to already attack your teammate after turn one. But very interesting there. It looks like Carson already burning his overtake to get into overtake range onto Carson, but it looks like Ace going side by side with Bolt Striker. Can Ace get the move done? He's still there, right side by side. Is Bolt going to send it down the inside? He's too far back, but
he is backed out of that one. Ace staying ahead, so he did actually get the overtake done. He just had such nice run coming off the bridge section, but like you were saying with the AlphaTauris, that dynamic. We were talking about it before the race. You know, how much would they really want to attack each other? I mean, it seems like they were very cautious.
Oof. Round the outside.
Great move.
Yeah, round the outside on I think that was Bolt Striker. So it looks like Bolt Striker is getting a little bit vulnerable there. Same with Turismo. He sounds like an Italian driver, but I'm not too sure. But Turismo, he looks like he's getting after Bolt Striker. But there's a lot of drivers. If you turn on the telemetry, you see the little yellow bars. That is them that they've underfueled the car to put it in a minus, so they're much more quicker in the slowing kind of straights. But it looks like the Ferrari driver of Vero, sitting in 8th place. I'm pretty sure he qualified. Did he qualify 5th or 4th? I'm pretty sure.
6th place.
Oh, and that looks like Stroll. Stroll getting past Carson, and Carson, he's dropped a little bit of time, Tom, to Stroll. There's a lot of overtakes going on, so I'm trying to watch it. But there's a free wide moment at the back of the grid. But that's the first retirement in the pit lane. So yep. Jordi. So that leaves oh, what's going on?
Have you seen Marcus has got a penalty on lap 2?
Oof. What happened there?
I'm not quite sure. He has exceeded track limits in lap 2. He's got a 2.4 second gap, fantastic off the line. But like you're saying, Carson has dropped back quite significantly off Stroh now, and I think Ace will be eyeing it up, perhaps in a few laps time back, as we do see that gap starting to form. But like you're saying, that's a three-wide moment.
Oh, he's running the wall. Who's that? That's the Alfa Romeo of... Oh, that's a really bad pronunciation. Sarakaya. He's got side plate damage. Oh! Sarumi.
He is round. He doesn't have any wing damage. I'm guessing that's just some contact on the wheel then. Oh, I believe that was Sarikaya.
Yeah.
And he was sent round there. So that is definitely disappointing for him. Now, Ace up 4 places in the opening 3 laps. So that is definitely a fantastic start for the Renault driver, looking really strong. That penalty, though, for Marcus is definitely going to be a talking point. On lap 2 it was, I mean...
What? Bolt Striker has just lost 3 positions just after turn 1. He's lost it to GML Bueno, GML Panda and Carlos. Just on 1 turn he's already lost it, but it looks like Old Wine is going to send it down the inside onto Vero, coming through to... Oh, they're almost colliding, but I'm not too sure. I haven't got the turns on, but looks like Old Wine is going to go round the outside, a little bit of collision with the wheel banging, but it looks like Old Wine gets the move done and dusted under Vero. Fantastic battling between them.
Fantastic move that was for the Williams driver. But now Vero will be waiting for a mistake. One little mistake from the Williams driver, and he'll be right back in there. What a fantastic move on the outside for Old Wino. That he had a really poor start, got forced off really far wide. Like I was saying before, interesting. A lot of drivers choosing to underfuel their cars, so they are faster in the slower sections of the track. Of course, they will have to stick it in lean, or they hope for a safety car, of course. But it is definitely hotting up in these opening 3 laps round Marina Bay. That gap 2.7 to the leader as it stands. We see Carson 5/10 back on Stroh at the minute. Any other battles you see on track at the minute?
He's lost more positions, Bolt has. He's lost more to Sarkaya and Fick, and he's almost putting the wall. It almost, from how Bolt turns in for the corners, it looks like he's got damage. Like, he genuinely looks like he's struggling to turn that car around, but he's got no damage. He's just... If you look at him right now, you see how stiff his car looks, but I think he's peeling into the pits. It might be the 3rd retirement of this week's race, or he's going to pit, but it doesn't look like there's any damage. Yeah, I think he's going to be retiring from this race. Yeah, that's the 3rd retirement. That's really unfortunate for him, though. He was on to a very good start, losing a couple positions, but he could have regained them later in the race. But obviously, best of luck to the retired drivers like Bolt Striker, Obi-Twan and Jordi for Austria next week. But Ace, you can't really say anything bad about him right now. He's on an absolute charge right now, catching up to the AlphaTauri of Carson. And Stroh, though, he's done fantastic. Qualified 3rd and got past Carson. I mean, you did think that the AlphaTauris were kind of gonna be a little bit more of a teamwork and work together, and they were kind of gonna peel off from the grid. But it looks like Stroh kind of put that down very quickly. But Marcus, though, that penalty, that could affect him a little bit more, because now it means that already 4 laps in, he already needs to tone it down.
Yep.
Oh, Jax.
Yeah. Jax Turissimo getting past AMS. There's still that battle ongoing. Like we're saying, no, with the leader, the gap is now down to 2 seconds. So Stroll is gaining. I wonder whether like you were saying, Marcus is got to be really cautious now about how he takes every corner now for the rest of the race. He doesn't want to pick up any more penalties, and he's lost it. Marcus has lost it.
He's
the
spinning.
AlphaTauri driver spinning round. He doesn't have any wing damage, but he has completely lost the back end there. What on earth? I wonder whether that is the tyre temps. The AlphaTauri driver is nearly round again going into Sector 1. He's got to really battle the car just to keep it on the track at the minute. Terrible for Marcus though. Really disappointing for him personally. Just lost it off the exit curb, the back end. Standing where he's lost it again. He's really struggling. And now he's got the Williams to deal with. Turismo. He's selling past this 3 wide.
Oh, it's a 3 wide.
No. He's still trying to go at it. It's the Red Bull AMS down the inside, locking up the front left. He's got the move done. Turismo straight back at him though. The Williams driver trying to hook it round, get the switchback on AMS. It looks like he's done it though. The Williams driver sailing past into people.
Way.
AMS defending. Yeah, definitely.
They're still going.
AMS not able to defend it now. Jack's still ahead, coming into the next corner. He's going to back out AMS, but Turismo looking up that front left. AMS still behind. What a fantastic battle it is though between these drivers now. Market's losing it, and he completely, he's struggling to control the car and just hook up a few corners without sliding that rear out, and that is terrible for the AlphaTauri driver. The AlphaTauri now at a massive disadvantage as it is Stroll leading, and now that battle for fourth is ongoing ahead of him.
Absolutely incredible scenes there. Literally, as we did say, he needed to keep it chill. He didn't want to go a bit too wide, and I think what he's done is that coming through to that last part where Stroll's appearing right now, I think he's just went a little bit too wide. He stopped the car and he just applied it, and this whole car's just dropped out of place. But that is fantastic for Stroll though. He's got one of the AlphaTauris, and now he's got the other one, obviously just due to mistakes. So did the pressure kind of get to Marcus very early in the race through that penalty? He does. Is he pitting?
He is in pits.
He is. It's not a retirement though, because it's still way too early in the race for him to retire, and he is a front runner, and we know that just for the qualifying and his pace. But yeah, he's repairing his wing damage. But he did look a little bit. His rear did look a little bit swipey. When every time he went on the side of the corner, he just kept losing it. But this is an absolutely incredible scene. It's already lap 6. We're already getting the battles like it's for the win right now.
Yeah.
Oh, an MS.
Picking up a 3 second. Violet also picked up one. So I'm just looking now at Ace. He's caught up to Carson. He's on the mediums. Could this potentially be a fantastic drive for the LR driver? I'm not sure what it one was like, but he's looking so strong in the opening 6 lap. Up 5 places, so is the Williams of Turismo. As we see, I think that's old wine. I don't know what's happened there for the Williams, but he's lost 2 places. So I wonder whether he's spun and he's potentially lost out because of that, using the traction round. Of course, there is no traction round here, which is just, the part of the tier, as it is. Oh, he's getting very close to Carson. I thought he was going to send it.
He's looking for it. He is
definitely. He's on the hunt, like you were saying before. He's on the hunt.
Yeah, he's on the medium, so he's got nothing to lose. He's got, well, obviously for the retirements, but it looks like, yeah, he's actually perfected this. He's on the alternate strategy. He's on the mediums. He can go maybe roundabout to lap. Well, the mediums are fairly good at tire wear, and obviously you just want to not push too much. But right now, all Ace can just do is just relax, just keep the engine cool, save his ERS, because this track is very difficult to save ERS, so you don't want to use it unnecessarily. So what he wants to do is he just wants to keep the mediums as long as he can last them. Don't push too much. Don't use too much ERS and you'll be absolutely fine. But what do you reckon he'll pit on after the mediums? Because
I'd go for the hard.
Yeah, it'd be the
hard. Marcus picked up another 3 seconds.
Another one.
Oh dear, the AlphaTauri seems to be struggling to Marcus off that early spin, and that
set to free. It's a retirement.
That could well be a safety car.
Oh, it's
VSC.
a
VSC.
So Ace is lucky.
Has not affected Ace too much there. That would have really thrown the Renault driver off. But it depends now. We've really got to be careful because of the corners, and the delta in this game is very, it's not great, to be honest, as a driver. So You have to be careful now, and because of the corners, the delta just falls away from you massively. So we may possibly see a few drive-throughs. Quad C drivers are experienced enough to avoid them, so perhaps not as it get underway. No drive-throughs. That is what we like to see, but there's not the perfect VSC restart from Ace. It wasn't a corner where it came in. So like you were saying, I think the hards for Ace will last him potentially towards the end. Whether it goes fully to the end will be interesting. If there's a safety car, that strategy out the window though, as that is Saromi picking up a 3-second.
Yeah, it says on his pit window on Ace, I've just been watching him, it says pit window open lap 8 to 9 onto the hards, but it only just depends on what his tower is like. If it's in his good 30s, it could maybe last a little bit longer, but I'm not too sure on what's happening. But there is a yellow flag. That
Saromi.
looks like Saromi, he's lost it yet again. That might be another pit or another retirement. We will see right now. We'll go on board with him, see if he's going to retire, but it looks like Fick getting a 3-second time penalty as well. But Saromi's on the hards, yeah, I was going to say, Saromi's on the hards. If he took off them hards, then he wouldn't get to the end anyway on the mediums, so his races unfortunately went to an end on lap 8, but best of luck for Austria. And another retirement actually was Sarakaya. I don't know if that was the reason for the VSC, but yeah, that's unfortunate as well. So we're noticing that each individual driver of each team is all at the front, but the Mercedes, this is fantastic for them, 4th and 5th, so they could put the hunt onto the AlphaTauris now, because both of the AlphaTauris are in 8th and 9th on the hard tires, so it's not game over yet. Anything can come into play for the AlphaTauri drivers, but still got a lot of laps to go. It does look like Turismo is starting to catch onto Ace. We'll stick on the tires, see how... Yeah, so they're on equal tires, so it looks like Turismo is slowly but surely catching up to Ace, but then again, Ace has got much more ERS. He's on his 70s, meanwhile Turismo is on his 40s, so Ace is being very consistent with his ERS, which can help him in the long run for the remainder of the race. But do you see any scraps unfolding potentially soon in a couple of laps?
Not at the minute. In a couple of laps though, I expect potentially Panda to be on the back of Varo. The Mercedes driver are, like you were saying, running very nicely at the minute, and it would depend, you know, how long and how happy they feel on those medium tyres, because like you're saying, with the mediums, lap 8 to 9, I think that's a bit premature for the mediums. As we've just seen, Bueno really going deep there. He lost it off the exit curb and he just tried to put his foot down, and the car just would not stop, so he was just a passenger.
Oh,
Marcus picking up another penalty. 9 seconds now. So that is potentially, like we were saying before, 9 laps in, 9 seconds of penalties. That is, you know, not what the AlphaTauris would have wanted after that. Such a strong qualifier. Ace, now, as a race winner yourself, what are you doing if you are in Ace's situation?
Well, there will be a lot of pressure coming through, because obviously, as we've said countless times, and we're never going to stop saying it, this is like the pinnacle of league racing. You have all them other leagues, but then when you come into PSGL and then you class yourself as a race winner in F7, it's a very big achievement to hold, so there will be a little bit of pressure onto the mantle of obviously leading this race. One little mistake and it'll be very interesting. But if I was in Ace's shoes, I would just conserve the ERS. Just ignore the gap behind. It might be closing a few times after your little bit of mistakes, but you just want to focus more on your own race. Make sure the engine's cool. Make sure everything is fine. But then if you do see a driver coming behind you, then yeah, maybe just tap on the ERS just a little bit, but don't use too much to the point that you're vulnerable, and then the rear red light is blinking like Christmas Day at the back of your car, because then that'll just mean that driver like Turismo will just get past you and sweep past, and that's it. So yeah, you just want to stay consistent, but Stroll get the fastest lap on the mediums, fresh mediums to say the least. Well, that's
yellow flag in sector 3. Who is that for? That is.
It's not our lap.
Carson! It's Carson!
Oh, what is the AlphaTauri's luck right now? What is going on? Both of them were making mistake after mistake. I thought Carson was going to be one of the drivers to maybe regain the team and kind of get the points that Marcus has lost. But now Carson is on the hard. So what is he going to put on now? What's he going to put on now? Is he just going to... I don't know.
Mediums. It's mediums for Carson.
No, his strategy has been absolutely
Interestingly,
thrown into the bin. Same with well, Marcus's strategy has been pretty much saved a little bit. He's back into
mm,
hearts. He's in eighth, but with 9 seconds of penalties though, that will be a great one. And he's got a 13-second gap, to 14 actually now, to seventh place. So a safety car would be good for him, but it wouldn't be good for the remainder of the top 5 drivers who are on the mediums, 9-lap old mediums. So I could see they could pit roundabout. This might be a little bit too much, but I think hards could go to like 18, so I presume that the mediums could go 15 to 14 maybe,
yeah,
potentially.
I'd say that.
But yeah, the gap is starting to close on Turismo and Ace, but then again, like I just gave the advice to Ace, just no pressure, just also, I genuinely think that's the main reason with the AlphaTauri is when you and your teammate are starting P1 and 2, you can't be too aggressive to the guy in front who's in pole, because you got to remember that's your teammate. You make one mistake or you do a stupid send, you give your teammate damage, boom, that's out the window. And we're seeing that with Marcus. Marcus maybe looks like he's getting a little bit hot-headed under the wheel, getting 9 seconds. So you can really see that in F7, it all just comes through to who wants it the most, and the AlphaTauris were the one that wanted it most, but it's looking like Ace an absolute charge. And
Oof.
now 12 seconds. So there again, it backs up my point. He's got 12 seconds of pens, and it's always at that same point, the last corner just before the finish line. So surely now that he's got 12 seconds, he needs to know not to do that. Like, he's burning all of his overtake. He's got 5% overtake. Like, that's another thing. Just patience is another thing. He's bashing the wall as well. He's making these little mistakes. But what would you comment on this, Tom? Obviously with Marcus, his little errors.
It is really interesting. I mean, we perhaps we did apply lots of pressure onto the AlphaTauris at the start of the race through qualifying. They had such a strong qualifying. Marcus snatched pole by 2/10, I think it was. So it was such a fantastic qualifying, beating Carson and Stroke. But so far this race, as soon as he lost it, it seemed like his head just went. He picked up a 3-second on lap 2. So that is, crucial. And then from there, he's got 12 seconds in 11 laps. He's going to really need to be careful now. Interestingly, if Ace pits now, he will come out behind Stroh. Now, this is what I think may happen here. Ace will come out behind Stroh. Ace will potentially go on to hard tyres. If he goes on to hards, they will go if he saves them, as Turismo tries to undercut the Williams driver. Ace, if he goes on to hards, they will go. Stroh's tyres, he's doing a 2-stop. It is confirmed at least a 2-stop. He's done soft to medium. That strategy will not work. He will have to go soft, medium, medium, potentially. Depending on that medium stint, could go soft, medium, soft. But it's too early to say, really.
So Markuson's a P6 now, but with 12 seconds. His rear just steps out so much. Like, some people like them understeer and oversteer setups, but I'm not too sure on what is going on with Marcus's setup. It like, you notice it just on the exits, just steps out, and he still burns a lot of ERS. So maybe he just feels much more confident just with his raw pace rather than using the engine, like the energy modes. But then again, they're always good to keep as a backup if a driver behind starts to gain the positions. But Carson getting the fastest lap on the mediums, I think, yeah, obviously, cause he's sitting in P13, meanwhile his teammates at P6, so it's not the AlphaTauri's luck right now, starting P1 and 2. But, yeah, Vero's in second place, but as you commented with Ace, it'll be interesting to see where he comes out in. So now that he's getting close to his pit window, he's gonna want to push a little bit more, just a little bit, use a bit more engine modes, use a bit more ERS, because you can regain. This is a rough estimate, I'm not too sure, but maybe like 20 to 30% ERS as he's peeling into the pits now.
Yeah, it's about 30%.
Yeah, so he'll get around about 20 to 30% of ERS. So well, now that he's here, can't really comment on it, but we'll go on board with Vero as he's pitting now. So what about Bueno? Absolutely fantastic name, kind of Bueno right here. But
Ace is in the pits as well.
Yeah, Ace. So Stroll is indeed going to come out in P1 right now on the 5-lap old mediums, but he will have to pit again. So 2-stop, soft, medium, medium. But then the guys who have started on the medium can go hards the whole way. So near the end, don't count them out. Yes, Ace and Vero and Bueno won't be the quickest for maybe like a good 15 laps remaining. Then they'll start to pick up the pace. The hards will start to pick up the positions. But if a safety car does occur, this could put it into Ace's hands, but then again it won't, because then everyone will be on the same strategy. But
Yep.
when do you reckon Stroll will pit? Maybe like in 10 laps time, do you reckon?
I'd say it's really hard now for Stroll because he's got to have those if he wants to do the soft, medium, soft, I think it's unrealistic, to be honest. But if he is gonna do it, he's gonna have to make the mediums last about 16, 17 laps. So it's a massive ass. If he does the soft, medium, which I think he is probably most likely to do, he will probably come in lap 13 or 14 and then go on to fresh mediums. He's now gonna have to make sure there's no mistakes. If you're shown out, no mistakes, because the second you make a mistake, it can be.
Oh no! It's actually done it. What happened? Wait, there's no retirements. Oh, it's not done that.
Marcus has lost his whole front wing.
Oh jeez.
Is that?
How did
that
he do
must
that?
have something to do with that.
Yeah, it is. He's an Indy car now. He's got no wing.
It's a full car safety car. This has put Ace at a massive disadvantage. He's hit the lap before, and what will he do now?
He can go to the end. I think
he'll stay out.
Yeah, he's gonna have to. But what about Stroll though? Well, the remainder of the guys. Well, it's not already like everyone's already on hard, so no one will pit except Stroll and Fick. Which I'm not gonna say the remainder of the name, but yeah, just Fick and Stroll. They're actually gonna double stack, so this will put Fick into a Fick is on the hards, 13 lap old hards, and he's sticking on the medium. So I think he'll have to pit again. But some viewers could see this is good for Ace, but then it's not, because he was just gonna plan on being patient, just wait until like near around the time that the mediums start to die. And then he could just regain the position after position. But now that, well, if you think about it, mainly all this ERS saving that he's been doing lap after lap after lap to catch up and use that all when he gets close is now just being thrown out the window. His strategy's been thrown out the window. His ERS saving's been thrown out the window, because everyone, by the time the safety car ends, they're all going to be up to 100. So this puts the pressure on Ace, almost just like what happened to Marcus. The pressure will get to you, because he's got a good, let's see, 12 to 13 drivers right behind him. 12 drivers right behind him. So there's going to be a little bit of pressure to not muck up the safety car too much, because we've all seen safety car restarts around this track in other leagues, and it's, you go a little bit too slow, the other driver will just get in your slipstream, tuck in, and then just zoom past you in turn one, and that's that, boom. So what do you reckon? Well, now that you've asked me, what would you do in Ace's shoes during a safety car? Like, what would you be feeling mentally, and like, obviously, what's your goal near the end?
So for Ace now, he will be aware that Stroh has chosen to go on medium, so it is intentional that Stroh is going to the end on those set of mediums, so they will fall off. So he's gonna, it'll be thinking in his head, if you are Ace right now, yes, he will be quicker at the start, but I need to keep my cool. I need to focus on myself and not the other driver. I saw yesterday, there was a few safety car restarts. Drivers tend to go quite early around here, which you can see if they go quite early, they will get a better run going into turn one. If they decide to go later, it'll be interesting because it minimises the straight line distance, so less of a chance that they will get dive bombed and an overtake will be attempted. But I think it is definitely staying out another lap. So this does Stroh now. This will be the ultimate tyre saving from the Hash driver. He's going to have to make those mediums last because he will not want to pit again. But if I was Ace, I'd go quite early, I think. Try and get the power down, use that ERS and Rich, and try and keep ahead for as long as I can. Obviously, I'm aware, though, if I'm Ace, that the people behind on the fresh mediums will be quicker, and I've just got to stick with them, and when their tyres fall off, I'm ready to pounce.
Absolutely. But someone said, can you put the tyres on? Yeah, the tyres have been on since the start. But yeah, it's fairly interesting. Obviously, the tyres now really don't matter because it's pretty straightforward on what's going to happen now. That, well, the safety car, if you take out, well, the tyre wear won't be too big during a safety car. So, well, a safety car normally stays out from 3 to 4 laps, depending on what happens with the rest of the grid. For example, like Carlos and Carson. So if they catch up, then it'll be in this lap. But if they don't catch up, then I think it'll be in through another lap. But yeah, that'll just guarantee the hard guys. Like, so that'll give every driver like a 4 lap break, so they'll be guaranteed to go to the end on the hard tires. But I can't but feel sorry for the AlphaTauri drivers. They've got one that's at the very back in 13th, and we know that he's a front runner. We know that how his result from last week was absolutely incredible. Obviously you weren't there, it was me and Logan, but just from what the stuff I've told you for the stream, he is a front runner. Same with Marcus, but it just looks like with PSGL, some guys rise and then sometimes they fall. It's just the nature of league racing.
Definitely, as we get confirmation that safety cars in this lap, we know, even demonstrated in this race, how fast the AlphaTauris are. You know, they qualified first and second. That is not easy to do in this grid at all. It is so competitive, the F7 tier this season. So you can't call who's going to win. And Ace today has just... He didn't have a strong qualifying, particularly, but he's got the race correct so far. The AlphaTauris have done the qualifying part, but come into the race and struggled with incidents, you know, that seem to be self-inflicted for Carson and for Marcus. I'm thinking Marcus off the exit curb is probably the main one that's been self-inflicted. But as we've gone to the safety car restart now, when will we see Ace go? This is definitely going to be interesting. He's backing up the grid. We saw drivers go back here, and he goes there. So it is a early safety car restart as he tries to catch Turismo napping a little bit there, and he has indeed done that, so succeeding in his mission. Fantastic safety car restart. Obviously Turismo probably picking up a warning for going a bit wide there. Is there any moves done? There is indeed. It's Stroh round down the inside of the Williams
what a move.
into second place. What a move. Early on the brakes, getting a better run through those hard tyres for Turismo. He couldn't really defend properly. Now we see Stroh and Ace, the two drivers we probably expect to see battling now for the race win. We're about just over halfway through the race, and we are now going to see on the final stint, you'd expect, unless there's another safety car, this battle ongoing, the mediums versus the hards, and I think that's AMS getting past his teammate actually, so perhaps a driver swap there. But Panos is under attack from Marcus. The AlphaTauri driver trying to work his way back into the point. It'll be tough to do with those penalties. It's going to be a late move potentially for Marcus. No, backs out over there. He did have
he's tapped him there. He's completely tapped him, but he's going to go for it. Oh, round the outside, go on. No. Oh, he's done it.
What a move. Fantastic move.
Just before, but can we just look at third and fourth? It's the exact same way that it went last week. It's almost going to be a double. Well, unless Ace and Stroll somehow just like spin it into a wall and lose the wheel, we could see yet again another masterclass from the Williams drivers. They've stayed quiet this race, and they've done very well. But that looks like a yellow flag. That looks like, oh, it's the Haas of Fick. Wait, is it? Did he reset? Oh no, yeah, he did. Okay, I was wondering. I did see a driver spin, but that's fake onto the fresh mediums. So it's not game over yet. But Ace abusing the curb there near the pit lane, getting in a little bit of time. But Stroll, right now, all he can just do is just relax, because he is in the hard. So the mediums are obviously going to be much more quicker. The mediums will be much more quicker than the hard, sorry. So Stroll wants to save his ERS, because ERS is another thing for this track. It's impossible to regain back up because you've got the heavy braking zones, but it doesn't really make sense, this track. You've got all these heavy braking zones and it only just goes up by like a teeny bit, so you want to conserve it. But Ace will be on a lot of pressure to the medium driver behind him.
Yep. Ace definitely be feeling it now. He'll be able to see, showing his rear view mirrors, as Marcus has got past Bueno. So the Mercedes bang, and AMS has tapped the wall.
Oh, he's got damage.
He tapped the wall on Marcus. So the Red Bull driver now is under attack from Marcus. He's probably going to back out, but no, he is not going to back out. He's going to battle it all the way around now. Marcus taking the move, getting the move done before the bridge section. Sorry, no. Have I got this one? No, before the bridge section, I was correct. But AMS has tapped the wall. I was a bit confused on track where we were there. I was like, is it before? Is it after? He did get the move done before. So the AlphaTauri driver now up in 7th, trying to go his way back into the points. He's got that massive penalty, those, to work off. And his teammate Carson down in 13th still with no penalties, though. He'll be able to hopefully pick up a few points for AlphaTauri. But they have had a very unlucky race. But this battle now for the race lead, Ace, Stroh, they're still going at it. Like I was saying, ERS is hard to come by around here. They've now got a 2-second gap to the Williams of Turismo, who's just with his teammate. That's Panda picking up a 3-second penalty. And that, where is Panda at the minute? He is 6th place, so on those hard tyres, so that may affect him. Actually, I mean, I'm looking at Carlos, and I think Carlos is actually going for a move here on the Mercedes driver. The Racing Point trying to stick round, backs out of that one.
It's time. It's time. It's time for Stroll. It's Stroll time. Is he going to get it on Ace? He's going for that outside line. Looks like Ace is going to defend the inside. Did he get it? Oh, he almost looks he got a better exit, but still Ace doing an absolute ace of defending, you could say, literally. But yeah, he's doing fantastic. AMS with another penalty. I got really worried that I said Ace, because honestly, this is getting interesting. That looks like Panos. Panos is a... Where is that? Oh, that's just before the... Oh, okay, it's there, yeah, turn 4 or 3, I'm pretty sure, yeah, he's got wine damage, but it's looking like a very interesting strap. Obviously, I'd love for this fight for the win to obviously just be judged by who's farther on the track rather than just judged by a penalty. But Tom, could you check the warnings for first and second real quick? I want to see. I want to see, because it almost looks like Ace is starting to drop.
No warnings for Ace. No warnings for Ace. I think that may be one warning. He's got one warning, one invalid lap time for Stroh. So they've kept it pretty nice and clean so far, especially Ace with those 0 warnings. So we will potentially see Ace. Obviously, like I said, it's so much nicer to see it not done on penalties. So at the minute, it is that way. Ace defending really nicely there.
Oh,
he
Vero.
took the inside line.
Oh wait, what did he get there? Oh, he just flew past Marcus then. Jeez, he's already gapped him by 8 tenths. So it's like Turissimo's on like an absolute mad charge, but like I said, you can only feel for Marcus. He's actually gaining onto 4th and 3rd right now, but he's got all them penalties. We'll stick them back on for the viewers. 12 seconds, so he will indeed go to... It's a tricky one to actually say. Because obviously there's a few penalties that, yeah, maybe you could get like a good 3-second remove, but 12, oh, that'll be difficult to get removed unless they were all just like him getting shoved, but you can only just hope for the best.
To get him removed though, because you know he was out in front. You know, you can't, you know, but you know he had a nice gap. He had about a 3-second gap at one point out front. Stroh now getting close, but a little wobble there for that driver. Oh, that was close. He had saved it. The wobble from Stroh, he just went over the exit curb, and I thought he'd lost it for a minute, and I was about to lose my voice if Stroh had lost it there, because this battle is hotting up. Both drivers still saving the ERS, like, smartly, probably, because like we've said numerous times before, it just seems like, even though there is heavy braking zones, you just recover such little ERS for some reason. I don't know whether that's because of the track nature, the corners, and how, you know, quickly you enter another corner, and it's a fast-paced corner, so that might burn some ERS up, or whether it's in the DRS, I'm not quite sure, but they've got a really nice gap, the front two, to the Williams of Turismo, and there's a little train forming behind. You've already seen Vero and Marcus in that train, and I think now we may see potentially... No, it was way too far back, but oh, Vero really close to the back of the Williams car of Turismo, and this is definitely now a battle potentially for the last spot on the podium, although Turismo doesn't have any penalties. I'm just
oh, Carson, another one.
Quickly.
Oh, he's in 11th, never mind. Yeah, he's in 11th, never mind.
Turismo's got 2 warnings, so this could really go up if he gets a thing like that. It's Vero into 3rd place. So, if Turismo gets another warning here, this could be a battle for the podium as well.
Absolutely, it'll be very interesting because, well, I do love this this race already. It's obviously straight off the bat. Obviously, me and your voices are almost already going dead. I've almost toned it down a little bit, but I'm gonna keep going. But well, after lap 6, you already thought that was for the win. Like already, you'd think that some people say, "Oh yeah, race isn't won on lap 1," but these guys were treating it like it was, but keeping it clean. Right now.
Sorry to interrupt that, but Carlos, there's someone down here inside of the bridge section, and he's got better traction, but now going to have to defend from Thick. Is having a nice run on him. Down here inside, they've got 3 wide. No, Bueno still ahead. More contact for the Racing Point. So Thick has got the better line. Carson in the back now, really using that EOS. Really try and get the move done on the Racing Point. It's breaking later. Carson down the inside. The Racing Point defending all the way. Bill Wilbash in between the Racing Point and the AlphaTauri. Oh my word, sorry about that. But I've just seen Thick absolutely send one at the bridge section out of sort of nowhere. Oh no, sorry, it was Carlos on Thick at the bridge section. I was just so caught totally off guard, and you see Marcus and Turismo going side by side. It's Marcus.
Oh, he's cut the corner as well.
Turismo.
He cut the corner as well,
dear.
so that was probably going to be another warning. But yeah, let's get the rear every single time. It just steps out, and he's burned all his ERS. So for him to still be in front into P4, well, one driver that could do very well if he can catch up to the remainder of the train. Carlos could slice himself into a fantastic position. He's got no penalties. Same with Turismo. Turismo, all he needs to do is either just do what Carlos sends, just send it and just pray that you're gonna get it, or just stay behind. Then what if, like, he stays a little bit too patient, and then when he's being too patient he just doesn't focus and then he gets a penalty? Then he's gonna have to overtake them. Well, Marcus, you could already take him off the sheet of being even in the top 5 with that penalty that he's got, but Vero, Vero getting attacked by Marcus lap by lap is going to be fantastic with Turismo, because that'll give Turismo more of a thing. But it looks like Marcus, looking like he's going to send it down the inside on the hard driver, trying to give him the space, wheel banging. Marcus is still looking for it. Is he going to go down the inside onto the chicane? But he's still going. There's still a little bit of a snap there, but
he had a snap of understeer, and he just saved it there. But he's still going at it, and this is doing Turismo the world of good. And I think Villa is staying ahead for now. But that battle, I mean, like we were saying before, this battle for third place, it's not over, is it?
Absolutely not. It's literally right there. Turismo can see it right through his visor. You can just see it right there. The AlphaTauri, past the AlphaTauri, and then that Ferrari. That is it right there. That is the podium. That is the way to make a great change into the season. Obviously, round 1 might have not been the greatest kickstart to some of the drivers, but this race, or the round 2, you could just kickstart it off here, just showing who is the boss right here of getting a podium. But with Stroll and Ace, they're in a whole league of their own right now. Like 4 seconds off of them. But Stroll gets a penalty. He's got a 3-second template. He's went a little bit wide, and he's just already took it. So now this puts it into Ace's hands. So Ace could just chill
with Marcus and Vero. Oh, there was that DRS straight, and Marcus has broken it than Vero, and he's gone into the back of him. I don't think he has any damage though, so that's good.
Oh no, he's lost it! He's completely lost it!
Oh, he's going damage now. He didn't get it from Vero, but he's got it off the wall now. Like you said, he's been struggling with that setup all evening. Seems like it just wants to get away from him constantly. So can Turismo now see that podium, and perhaps more, perhaps a second place in sight? He will not know, of course, that Stroh has another penalty, unless when he gets past Marcus, he will see he has like 6 seconds, and he will be gunning for it all the way now. I expect a Williams driver. He is confident. But what does this do for Ace's mentality now? Will he be able to step off the gas a little bit and just relax that little bit more with Stroh picking up another penalty?
Absolutely. It's always having a little bit of a lock up there. He almost looks like he's starting to let off the gas a little bit, Jack says. But yeah, Carson. Oh, and Carr's returning as a safety car, and his teammates just pulled into the pits.
He just said his name, and Carson's hit the wall when his tyres come off. Look where he's on track. Both his rear tyres are gone.
Was that intentional? I hope that wasn't. Marcus predicted that at the right moment possible. I don't know how. Marcus pit just as he put it in the wall. I didn't catch what Carson did, but just as Carson crashed, Marcus stopped the car and then turned into the pit. It's like, obviously, I guess if they're teammates, and Carson's like, oh, I've spun! Then, like, yeah, Marcus' time to pit, but still, that was odd timing that Marcus pit just as his teammate crashed. But that's unfortunate for Carson. But, yeah, I don't see the AlphaTauris. Well, he might get a point, but now that the safety cars came out, this is going to do a good job for the drivers such as Carlos. No penalties, he's in P9. Maybe trying to get past a few of the drivers will be a bit more of a challenge, because they'll be wanting to defend that position that they've got with everything that they've got, their ERS, their fuel modes, because, well, this is F7, so there's no sympathy in this tier. You can't feel sympathetic for someone. Yeah, it's unfortunate they're retired, but any retirement or any safety car or any position that you've gained, you got to be happy with it. But that's not going to be good for Stroll. It's not going to be good for Vero. It's not going to be good for Panda, AMS, Fick, Marcus, Bueno, or Old Wine, or Panos, because all of them have all got pens. But I could see potentially, if Turismo gets a penalty, could we see Carlos go from 9th, just a very quiet race in the Racing Point, to even a podium, just like that? Because we're very close to the end, so it could be a most likely, but then again, I don't want to like upset the Racing Point driver, and I predict it too early, and then it doesn't happen. Would that be for the mediums? I don't.
Be potentially for the mediums. I don't think Sauce would go, to be quite honest. Definitely.
Oh,
I mean,
he is.
They possibly could, but.
Oh yeah, because add the 4 laps or 3 laps that a safety car stays out. They could. They actually will, because the softs lasted 9 to 10 laps originally when the restart fresh, and that's a good result that the restart actually happened because they were all fresh tires. But yeah, AMS is into the lead as a ghost. Wait, is he? He's ghosted for some reason. AMS is, but I'm not too sure if he's lapped or that is actually a driver. But absolutely incredible scenes here at F7, Tom. Wouldn't you agree? We've had a lot of interesting freeway battles, much more different from the race that I just commentated last week at Bahrain Shore. Didn't see no free wides, and then for my race at F10, I didn't see no free wide moments or at all. So you almost hear that the tier placements are much more different from the sending, the skill gaps, and everything. Free wide moment, a lot of upsets and dramas for these drivers, but AMS leading the race as a lagged out car. So AMS, if you're here, get back in the lobby right now. You're leading it, mate. You're leading it, and you can go to the end. So, what would you do if an AI won the race? An AI costed like.
That interview after.
Oh wait, AIs get really bad safety car restarts. Oh, this might be bad. I just realised why it's always bad for ghosts to do safety car. Oh, there he is.
He's joined. Your words have saved him.
he's like, huh?
He's had the stream. He's had his call, and he's back. He's had the call, and AMS will get us underway in I think it'll be next lap. The safety car will be in. But Ace now. Ace
he is actually in the chat. He is actually in the chat.
Yes.
He says, "Oh my word, I have a broken wing." Does he? Oh, he does. He has a broken wing, and he's actually leading it. He could have went to the. His AI's done a masterclass strategy right now. He doesn't need to pit, and now his AI's got damage somehow. How does an AI get damage? Because he just said, "Oh my word," but I have a broken wing. His AI's getting a broken wing. What? AI's got a broken wing. Oh, that is the biggest upset. How many pens does he have? Oh, 6. Okay, never mind. That doesn't really mean that. Oh, never mind.
Still could get good points.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's actually run through it now that the safety car is coming in. So we've got AMS on 6, 3, 3, 3, 15. Jeez. 3, 6, 3, 3. So we've got 12 people. So it's guaranteed points for the drivers with the Turismo. What did he stick on? Turismo stuck on the fresh soft. Carlos is right behind him. So, oh, this is really interesting, Tom. I'm trying to figure out. Well, it's a migrating host. I think that's Carson. Yeah, Carson's absolutely fuming. Obviously, him and his teammate has not pulled out the best result in the world for their team. But Williams, where are the Williams drivers? We have
one in 11th and one in 7th.
So, yeah, they were actually doing an absolute charging last week and this week. Well, obviously the safety car, so the pit, so their position have swapped, but they will be much quicker. But who's pitting, who hasn't? Let's see. Ace Stroll.
I think it was everyone bar from AMS that is pit actually.
He could literally go to the end on the mediums, but he's got damage.
And
that's so upsetting.
It is a shame for AMS, but there is still always hope. This race has offered so many twists and turns that, it is impossible now to predict because, let's say Ace gets involved in an incident and has wing damage. That could mean that anyone could win this race. I mean, Turismo, down in 7th, no penalties, fresh softs. Could we see a podium for the Williams driver? It is not out of the equation yet. As I think, there we go, confirmation of the safety car in this lap. It will be AMS. Luckily, not the ghost of AMS, the actual AMS.
I've just realised, because I think it's his mate, Jorge Correa, said, guys, the Williams driver's name reads tiramisu, like the dessert. Tiramisu. Oh. So not tiramisu,
tiramisu.
Tiramisu. Ah, right, okay, tiramisu. See, if I knew that, then I would be calling him that, but not tiramisu or turissimo, like in Italian. Turissimo, like that and all that stuff. That's what I thought. But
Yeah.
tiramisu, okay, yeah, that sounds much more sim. I prefer
Tiramisu.
I prefer turissimo, like an Italian name. But yeah, oh my god, I almost forgot it now. Tiramisu, yeah, tiramisu. That'll take a little while, so bear with me for next week, and I'll try my best. Yeah, AMS with his broken front wing. When will he go? He's getting ready. He's getting ready. Getting ready. And the bull has been unleashed. Very good restart.
Unleashed, indeed.
I was really scared to say that.
And Stro have got a nice safety car restart on the back of AMS, who obviously with that wing damage and his rear is sliding out as Thick gets past Bueno. And I think that is Old One battling Bueno as well for that 10th spot. But we now may see Ace getting past AMS here. This is going to be a battle for the race win. He's going to need AMS to hold up, and he is probably going to send down the inside here. He's going to probably do it down the inside.
He's given the room.
The track there.
Oh, and he's lost 2 positions. It looks like he's going to defend off of Stroh. He doesn't get it.
So close for Stroh. Nearly massive contact with AMS there.
Oh, and who's that? That's Carlos. Carlos trying to send it on Old Wayne, but he didn't get the right enough. But literally, all I say to you, Carlos, if you're watching this,
there's a Red Bull.
Oh, is he lost it?
Oh, wing damage for Tiramisu.
Oh, and the Bueno's lost it. Everyone's getting under pressure right now because it's literally near the end. But why is everyone slowing down? What's going on? The whole grid just stopped there for a second.
By past AMS. There's wing damage on that Williams car now as Old Wine passes him. Going deep, they're having a battle with the Williams. Old Wine sticking around the outside. Tiramisu with wing damage. Oh my, it's just broken really late and just gone flying into the back. I think over the back of Thick. So
what?
Ace now.
Wait. 18 seconds of penalties for Marcus, and he's in P3 as well.
Is he close to disqualification?
I think you need another. I don't actually know how much you get in 50. I know that in 5 lappers it's like you get like 12 or something, you're gone or something. But then in 50%, I'm not too sure. Not too sure, but
he's gonna be Thick. Oh, he's made massive cut.
Oh, he's spun it completely.
Massive. Oh, no, no. That's happened there. Thick trying to send it down the inside of the Mercedes, and he just collided and collected the Mercedes and himself. And I think it was both Mercedes. And that meant that Carlos, I don't know whether they came across unharmed, but he is up into 8th now with no penalties. He is unharmed, Carlos. So that's good to see.
Look at Wayne. Oh, around the outside.
Oh,
go on.
Why?
Oh, he's done it.
Oh, what a move.
He's gone and done it. Put the Bill to sleep there for a minute. So the Bill was unleashed and now he's sent in 6th. So, AMS, I don't know. Oh, that looks like Tiramisu. But so, he said in the chat, you can call him Tyrisimo or any other name because they're bashing him for it. So they're making fun of him being called Tyrisimo. Nah, the pronunciations for some of these names are very difficult. But Stroh. Let's call him Stroh.
Stro. We call him Stro here. And it's the gap is now 1.3 seconds, so Ace looking really strong. He's used a lot more EOS than Stro, with only the laps are counting down now of the Marina Bay Grand Prix Singapore. We've seen nothing but action all the way through the race. These safety cars have provided plenty of action, and we see plenty of damage as well. And that is JML Panda really close to the back of Carlos as Thick gets another 3 seconds. Now Carlos is in this train behind AMS because of that damage and the old mediums.
Ace,
he's
taking another point away. So he's not only going to get the P1, but he's going to take another. He's going to take an extra point to the team. So where's his teammate? Oh, his teammate Efrol Jordi retired very quickly. I just noticed that. Yeah, he is an 18th. So yeah, he retired very quickly. Oh, masterclass from Ace. He's only got 1 warning. I checked the race director when you were commenting on the safety car, and yeah, he's only got 1 warning now. So I don't. There's only 2 drivers that have not got a penalty, but can they move? But it looks like Carlos and AMS. Carlos going for the outside line on the mediums. It should be a pretty straightforward as AMS does have that damage, but they're wheel banging, and Carlos has kind of been shoved off the track. He's got a 3-second time penalty. I would say, if you're there, Carlos, and you're watching, I would say potentially clip that recording and then show your race start, because I wouldn't have said that was a penalty, because he had 2 wheels on the track. It's just obviously him and AMS were going side by side, and a little wheel bang occurred, and then yeah, he's got a penalty. So I scratched that off the board. It's only Tiramisu who's the only one not to have a penalty. But then again, I'm probably going to jinx that, and he's going to actually get one. But we'll check. We'll check and see his warnings. He's got 3. 2 collisions in one warning. Okay, do not get another exceed, because then that'll mean the whole grid has one, except Ace. Oh, Ace doesn't have one, but Ace needs 2 more, so yeah. But we're coming on to lap 29, as I have a little tiny voice crack there. You know, I sense that my voice is starting to die, but yeah, on to lap 29 then now. Nothing but masterclass from Ace right now. I don't think Stroll's going to really be able to push anything at the car too much right now to Ace, but he will settle for a P2 unless there's drivers behind him. Yeah, Marcus is on 18 seconds, so technically the scrap for the podium is 4th, 5th and 6th. No, 4th, 6th and 7th and 8th. They will all get in front of Marcus. I think literally everyone will get in front of Marcus at this point. 18 seconds. But I'll stick on the leader because Marcus is only 3 seconds off. So yeah, we'll see. Where will he come out? He'll actually finish like 7th or 8th, Marcus will.
That's a good point. As Panos picks up the fastest lap down in 12th at the minute, and we do see thick, massive contact with AMS. So the Red Bull there really struggling of AMS. He's got plenty of damage now to that front wing, and Thick is just forced the overtake there, the Hash driver, and his pass. We've already seen him tangled in a turn 1 incident. I think it was 2 laps now ago with, I think it was Bueno. So Bueno now down 11th, Turismo in 10th, but the biggest gainer this race, and the most impressive it has to be said, is Ace. The Renault has just impressed, I think, everyone so much this race with his strategy call, and he's coming at, and he's done the exact right thing at the exact right times. And my voice does start to die off, and that's Panda picking up a 3 second. But like I was saying, Ace has done the exact right thing at the exact right time all the way through the race. That's been so impressive, and we don't jinx it, and he finishes this race in 1st. I think that's a fully deserved after qualifying 8th in the grid.
Here we go, lap 30. So just one more. Well, technically it's half a lap until we get to then the final lap, and then that'll mean that. Well, still, I'm not gonna jinx. I'm not gonna say, oh yeah, we already know who's gonna win, because anything can happen. Maybe Ace got into like a little bit of a bother with another driver and steered. So, anytime the results come in, it's always gonna be a provisional. But for this race, it looks like Ace has pretty much secured this in the bag until now. But some of the penalties that I have seen in this week's race, they've kind of been deserved. Maybe Marcus has. Maybe there've been a few that haven't been deserved. But 18 seconds. Vero is going to get into a podium potentially, because Oldwine's got 6 seconds, and then I think Carlos has got 3. But then he could get that removed, and then potentially still go up a few more positions. But I think the highest he'll go will be, he'll be like 5th or 4th. Because he's got a 5.6 second gap to the guy in front, so yeah, he'll pretty much settle for a P5, I'm pretty sure, or a 4th. Because Marcus got that 18, so it'll be interesting. But where's Ace? Yeah, he's got a 1 second gap, so I don't think Stroll can do anything to Ace to really like mess him up too much.
No, yep. Totally agreed with that. I think Stroll now is just got to focus on getting that 2nd spot, making sure there's no more penalties for himself, because I think that win is diminishing unless Ace has anything. As we go into the final lap of the Singapore Grand Prix, Ace looking really strong. He's been so impressive this race so far, and he's still staying ahead of him, so he picks up a 3 second penalty. So it's now just Ace without any penalties so far. Of course, the ones that you're saying, like with Carlos, could potentially get removed if he doesn't pick up another warning, but really strong for Ace so far. Will there be any battles though on the final lap? I can't really see any emerging. I think the closest one is JML and Bueno and AMS for that 9th spot, but still too far back at the minute. The gap is now 1.4 to Stroll for Ace. He's been so good this race, the Renault driver, and he's really, I think, deserved this win. It's been called in at tough times, the safety cars actually, for him. He pit lap 4 on those hard tyres, and he just stayed out, and he's done a masterclass. He has fully done a masterclass, and for that, I thought that was going to be him from a Gemma Panda on track. And I think Jamal Panda has lost it. The Mercedes, he was actually riding quite high there. So, who will that put in the points? It'll be Tiramisu in the
Everyone's in
points
the
then.
points. Marcus will be in the points as well. So, yeah. But commenting on this real quick before he crosses the line, Ace finished second last week. So, he's been on the podium last week, taking a P2. He was close to getting the win, and I can 100% guarantee that. But him and Old Win hashed it out last week. But we're gonna go on board with Ace coming through to the last sector of the line, getting ready to win the Singapore Grand Prix for round 2. Absolute masterclass from there, but nothing much to really say. He did it an absolute masterclass. But Stroll finishing second, Vero finishing third. So Vero, from if I remember correctly, he finished 16th on the grid last week. So from him to go from 16th to third right now for this week, it's gonna be absolutely amazing for him to celebrate. But Old Wine finishing fourth in the Williams. He finished first last week at Bahrain Short, so you'll be very happy with a P4. Obviously, a little bit of he was up there, but it wasn't up there enough. But then in 5th place we have Carlos. Maybe that 3 second gets removed, and then he can potentially go up to 4th, depending on the penalties. But then Marcus finishing 7th, and I'll read the rest in a quick moment. But we'll see who the driver of the day is.
I'd say it has to be
Ace. I'd say Ace, but
Oh,
it's Thick though.
Thick.
I would say Ace, not to discredit Fick, but I would say it was Ace, but yeah, we'll be coming on to the podium celebrations. But any comments on that race though, Tom, before we read out the
What a fantastic race that was for my first one in F7. There was definitely a massive show put on. We saw non-stop drama with 2 lobby restarts. We thought it would be really hard for the likes of Ace to come through, but we knew, of course, like it was the nature of this track, you can come through the field. Ace demonstrating that. The AlphaTauris though, I mean, it was such a tough day at the office for them. Marcus and Carson, who started off so strong in the opening few laps. Marcus picked up a 3-second opening 2 laps worth of that off, put him because he obviously had the spin at one of the early laps. He just lost up the X curb, sent round spinning into oblivion. The AlphaTauri driver picked himself up though. And he got this 18 seconds of pens and still finished 6th. So I think all in all, it's not horrific by any stretch of the imagination. Carson was disappointed with that DNF though. I think he just lost the car into the wall, but Stroh as well, really nice drive from him as well. He put the pressure on all the way, but picking up that 3-second I think really affected him. But what a fantastic race that was, especially for the race winner himself, Ace.
Absolutely. We can try and get a quick interview in, but just absolute masterclass for the Frenchman, LRS. Obviously very happy with him. He's in my team and I'm commentator for his team, but absolute masterclass for him though. We can try in, if you can try help me with this, Tom, if you can try help me get the drivers in, we can try give him a quick interview before we call it a wrap.
Yep.
So I've added Ace. I've added Ace, but I just need you to add the other driver of Stroll and Aviro. So just bear with us, guys. We will get into the interviews. We'll wait on Vero just real quickly, but can you guys make sure that you have your voices on allow on your PS4 so the stream can hear you?
Already checked it.
Alright, sweet. Alright, okay, sweet. We'll wait on Vero, and then if Vero doesn't join, then we'll just get into it. But here he is. So we'll go from 3rd to 1st real quick. Let me just make sure that the stream can hear you, even though I'll ask Vero as well. Vero, are you there? If Vero's there. Is your voice settings on allow so the stream can hear you? If you can just double check that just real quickly. Okay, sweet. Okay, let me just double check. I'm just listening to the stream. Sorry about this. Just gotta make sure, because obviously we did have a little bit of a complication with last week. I interviewed the guy in P1 and he actually had his voice on Do Not Allow, so I just sounded like I was talking to myself. But yeah, so we will go to Vero. Congratulations, Vero, on securing yourself a podium. Obviously last week wasn't the best result, but can you run us through how you felt in qualifying and your race, just in total, for tonight?
First, congratulations to the people who won. They did a pretty good race, and qualifying was a little bit tough. Like, I could do better on my lap, but I was comfortable in P6. At the start, I had a little bit of contact between two cars that sandwiched me, but then we kept on the race, we kept going, and we finished on P3. And thankfully, we had a 10-second penalty, but we took that time off of the people behind, so I maintained my P3. And it was overall a very good race.
Yeah, absolutely. When the safety cars came out, did you ever feel like your strategy was a little bit hindered? Do you think it kind of bothered you? Like when you saw that the remainder of the drivers behind and in front started to pick up a few of the penalties, did you did you expect yourself to get a podium like this race, or did you feel like it was just going to be the same result as you finished last week? Did you think you had the podium pace for this? Like, did you expect to finish there, or is it just a very big surprise?
Honestly, I knew I had the pace last week. I spun on the first lap, but I didn't think I had a podium because of the 10-second penalty I had. But once the safety car came out and I pitted medium and I saw everyone else on soft, it was like I just messed up my whole race. But thankfully, I don't know what happened on the back, but I took the 10 seconds of the other driver. I could maintain my place.
Absolutely, but I'll give you one last question before I go to second place and then first place. So following after the Singapore Grand Prix, we're going to be at round 3 for the Austrian Grand Prix. How do you feel there? Do you feel like we could potentially see you up there fighting against drivers such as Ace and Stroll? Obviously, they've both shown what their pace is like. Potentially going to be for the season. Do you think we can maybe see you on the podium in another further next races?
We will see. Austria is a very competitive track. All the people are always one after the other, so let's see. But hopefully we'll get another podium.
Best of luck to you for Austria. Congratulations on getting your first podium of this season. Hope to see you in the commentary box for next week. Right. We will go to second place, which is F1R Stroll. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Well, congratulations getting a second place. Obviously the first place was there, but obviously it just was not your day, but you cannot complain. You finished second. Run us through how you felt for your qualifying and your race this week.
Yeah, I choked the qualifying, I would say. It wasn't one of my best qualies, but anyways, I think place 3 was pretty good for me. And then the restart was pretty good because I had pretty bad tires, I would say. So the restart really came in my favor. Yeah, and after the quali, I was pretty okay with P3.
Yeah.
And my race was yeah, pretty okay as my qualifying. I think no big mistakes, just one little crack on my front, but no problem. And the safety cars were okay. The last stint was a bit yeah, I don't know how to say it in English. Was a bit hard because of the red tires.
It was a little bit difficult, you could say. It was a little bit difficult to judge on what to do under that pressure. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, pressure came from behind, from Marcus,
yeah.
but I saw he got 18 seconds time.
Yeah.
So I didn't really care about him behind me.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was just focusing on X.
Well, I'm gonna ask you two more questions. Also, I'll ask you what you feel about like next week, but I'll ask you this one because me and Tom would 100% be intrigued on this. So, when we started the race, obviously there was the few restarts which we won't comment on, but obviously you were the only driver near both the AlphaTauris. Were you a little bit pressured that the AlphaTauris were going to be a little bit more defensive, also because you would have been the guy to break them? But then obviously you got in front of, I think it was Carson straight off the lead. Did you feel a little bit pressured since you were going off basically just the team solo because you didn't have anyone else behind you at that moment. It was just you versus two AlphaTauris for this lead after the line. How did you feel with that? Did you feel a little bit worried?
Wasn't that worried because I had a pretty good start and I took very low fuel, so my main goal was to get one Fatari at the start, and yeah, I get that one, so I was pretty happy. And after that, I was just focusing on my race. And then I saw Marcus. I think it was Marcus.
Yeah, he
I think,
spun.
yeah.
He spun on
He
the last
spun,
corner.
yeah.
He spun and then he picked up a penalty, and then just lap after lap, me and Tom were always commenting. It always looked like his rear was stepping out, and then he lost it that first time. Then he started to get penalty after penalty, and I was always surprised how he was never being a little bit more tighter on that line if he knew that that's where his setup was going to hinder him the most. But yeah, congratulations on getting a second place. Though obviously it must have been very difficult, obviously going against both of the, well, you could say the front runners right now, because the AlphaTauris were on absolute charge last week, and then they were on a charge this week, but they've messed themselves up a little bit, so the pressure, you could say, kind of got to them. But for following up, it's just been Singapore right here. How do you feel like you're gonna compete? Obviously, Ace is now the one to beat. Now, I think he's gonna be leading the championship by a little bit of a margin now. But for round 3, how do you feel for the Austrian Grand
Well,
Prix?
First of all, I'm a reserve driver, so.
Are you?
Yeah,
You're a
I
reserve
am.
and you've gotten to a podium.
Yeah.
Wow. Well.
So I hope someone isn't able to race next week, so I can race. I'm the first reserve driver from Force, so I hope, yeah, really that someone can't drive.
But that's insane. I don't even think Tom knew that. Did you know
No,
that,
I
Tom? That he was a
didn't.
reserve.
I
Like,
didn't.
yeah, I didn't know you were a reserve. If I knew you were, if I knew you were a reserve, it would have been even more hyped up. Me and Tom's foot would have been going. The very first reserve to get a podium. Because
Yeah, it was-
we had that with AMS. We were like, wait, an AI is actually leading the safety car, and then he joined back instantly as he heard. So, yeah, well, congratulations for obviously round 2 as a reserve, getting a podium. It's fantastic from you. Tom, have you got any quick question for him or anything?
Yeah, just how. So obviously, off the back of the safety car restart, you chose a different strategy to what AMS did. You went on to the medium compound when Ace was on the hard. Sorry, it was Ace, not AMS. Was that you thinking? Did you have the plan of doing a 2-stop, or was it always going to be a 1-stop in your head?
Yeah, no. I was about to drive red, medium, or soft medium. So it was always my strategy.
That is interesting because it looked to me like it was always Ace's intention to do the 1-stop. So it was really good to see that battle all the way. And like Delta said, it was a fantastic race from you today. You really, you took it to those AlphaTauri drivers early on, sorry. And then late on, you had a fantastic battle for the race winner. So nothing but congratulations, especially as a reserve driver.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you a lot.
Yeah, well done, mate. Good luck for round 3 if you're racing it. I hope you do, because obviously you're putting a very good fight
Yeah,
to
I
the
hope
drivers.
so as well.
Yeah, 100%. But congratulations though, finishing second. Best of luck for next week if you race or if you don't race. It's been great talking to you. But we will move on to the race winner, LRS. Are you there, Ace?
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on obviously having an absolutely very dominant win. Obviously, you came out of nowhere, qualifying 8th place. Now you're in the lead. Run us through how you felt obviously, through your qualifying and your race. How would you really comment on it?
Thank you. The qualifying, that was hard. I tried to get my to sorry to do my laps on medium. Start P8 and after that the race start. I took a super start. I think it's one of my of my best. And so yeah, I was P5 I think after the first corner, and after I tried to follow the guys in soft to have the JRS and pass them. They box, and I was on medium hard, and if there was no safety car, I think it would be very difficult to catch Stradozzi behind me. It's it's my first victory in PSGL, so yeah, I'm really happy.
Yeah, well, obviously very exciting to see. Obviously last week it was another winner, but now it's a new winner. So, do you think that we could see this becoming a little bit of a trend? Obviously, I don't know if you understand a few English words, but I can try to make it a little bit simple. Do you think that we could see you more wins this season? Like, could we see you having more wins this season? Do you feel like you have what it takes?
Yeah, I will try to get more wins. It's my target.
Well, Tom, have you got anything for him? Well, obviously we've just asked him how he feelings, but Tom, have you got
Yeah.
anything to comment on him? How he's went?
So that was it was a really nice racing race actually. It was really interesting to see. Did you feel like that safety car when it came in? Did it benefit you or Stroh more? Do you reckon?
Yeah, when the safety car goes out, I see for the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first one. I think it saved me because it very difficult after if the safety car don't don't go out.
Yeah, so it seemed like it was always going to be the battle between you and Stroh, and you had just enough to keep him behind. We'd see a little bit of contact where it got really close between you and Stroh. And was there any nerves there? Did you feel nervous at all when it was really close between you and Stroh?
Yeah, that was a hard battle, and he made a mistake.
Yeah,
And
I did. Last
yeah,
sector.
and I I got 1 second ahead, and I say oh yes, and so I was happy, and well,
It was really good as well because you didn't get any penalties. You were the only driver on track today to avoid any penalties. Was that part of the game plan coming into it, or did you plan on not avoiding any penalties? And you think you could have possibly won if you didn't get any penalties? Was that part of the thinking coming into it?
yeah. On this game, my target is really to don't take any penalties because you can gain, you can win, you can earn a lot of position if you don't took.
Yeah, we saw the likes of Marcus pick up 18 seconds of penalties today, which cost them
Yeah.
a lot of places. So, just to finish on, when Marcus span and you were in that lead, did you feel confident at that point? Do you think you felt like you could have won the race then, or was it later on in the race where you thought, yes, I can win this?
Yeah, when he spun, because he was oh sorry,
Sorry?
he he has ah sorry, uh he has a lot of he was a lot ahead. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, he was far ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. He was far ahead, and when he spun, I was confident to get a podium and more win.
Well, it's definitely a very, very good race and a really fantastic battle between, every driver today, especially Stroh and yourselves. Have you got anything else to add?
Austria. Wait, did you already ask him about Austria?
I haven't not asked about Austria.
Okay. Well, Ace, obviously, fantastic drive. I almost completely forgot that was even here, but yeah, fantastic driving from you today. How do you feel like you'll do at Austria? It can become maybe a potential mixed conditions. It's a 50-50 on if it could become a dry race or a wet race, or maybe mixed. How do you feel like you can cope next week? Do you think we'll see you on the front line for another P1 for next week?
I hope. Uh, it will be a very hard race. The qualifying will be very short, I think, because it's a very short track. And the race, I will do my best to maybe get another podium or maybe a win.
Well, we hope to see you here next week for round 3 Austria. Congratulations, as a fellow LR guy, congratulations to your win.
Thanks.
But I think that's a wrap for tonight, Tom, wouldn't you agree?
I think, yeah, after all the action of the lobby restarts and the race, I think, yeah, I think it's time to call it.
Yeah, well, thank you everyone for watching from the start of the stream, start to end. Obviously, there was a little bit of restarts that happened, just little shenanigans happening in the background. But furthermore, thank you everyone for watching. Thanks, Tom, for joining me as a co-comms. Obviously, I had a reserve co-commentator that I didn't mix well with, but having a mate as a co-comms is obviously the best mix. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching the stream. We'll see you at round 3 for the Austrian Grand Prix.